was hoping this wasn't a person. Looks like just a life jacket. I was able to capture a little bit more time. Pretty early afternoon. And take the Sylvan to the lake, and I think I'm gonna go for it. Hey Sylvan, how you doing today? Hey, come on, let's go. Let's see if we can't catch some fish. Glad you came along. Patoka Lake. Good to see you again. That's called the Narrows. Old pioneer stagecoach route. Almost to the boat dock. I'd call that another successful launch of the Sylvan. Got it sitting down here in the lake waiting for me. Down by the boat dock. Boy, that's getting so much easier each time I do it. It's like a no-brainer. I don't even have to do the checklist anymore like I did before. Just concentrate on everything now. Could get a little dangerous because you don't want to take anything for granted, but still, it becomes so much easier. I am definitely ready to take on some steeper boat ramps. So let's get out there. Let's see what happens. It's a very hot day. It's about 95 degrees, but there is a breeze blowing. I'm thinking I might just go on over to Tillery Hill and kind of spot a good place to camp. The main thing is to probably do some late afternoon, evening fishing, do some camping tonight out on the water, do some fishing tomorrow morning, see where it goes from there. All depends what kind of luck I have. All depends if the fish are biting. Everything went good. Got the big Chrysler Daddy fired up. 85 horsepower. We're going to head on out. I'm guessing it's about 4 o'clock this time. Always kind of worry about the Jeep still being there when I get back, but I'm sure it'll be. If not, that's why we got insurance. You can see it's pretty windy out here. Some puffy clouds. I don't think any rain is in the forecast, but we'll see. Water's kind of rough today. I guess it's because of the wind, and there's some pretty big boats out here. Not many boats, but big boats. But it's kind of cool because it's teaching me how to run these waves. Glad I took the effort to come on out. Oh, ha. Woohoo! Go back there, Nikon. Island, USA. Woo! Man, I was hoping this wasn't a person. Looks like just a life jacket. Gonna pick it up. Yeah, that was kind of freaky. I saw that, and the way it was laying there was kind of twisted. I thought, oh my God, is that somebody laying in the water? It's the old Gilligan's. Gilligan's is a place you can rent boats from. I've rented a lot of boats from Gilligan's. When I'm leaving tomorrow, when I go by there, I'll give it back to them. I'm sure somebody's probably going to get charged for that life jacket right there. Buying this extra high pedestal for my seat, adjustable pedestal, was well worth it. You can kind of see how high I'm sitting off the ground. Almost like almost like sitting in a tall chair, maybe even a bar stool. But this way here, I can really see over everything. I get a lot better view this way. I really like it a lot. And if I wanted to put it down, I can always put it down to the height of this chair right here. About 8 inches lower than where I'm sitting right now, but I can make them both exactly the same, which is pretty cool. Kind of pick out a spot to camp, and I'm also going to pick a spot out to fish. Clouds are beautiful today. Absolutely beautiful. When it gets hot like this, I'm always looking for shade. If there's any, play the sun, wherever the sun's going down, is there any place where there's some shade? And I'm noticing right over here at this bank right here, I'm seeing a shade on it. I try to put my anchor down, and so my bow of the boat will face that way. So I'll put my back anchor down, the wind's coming from this direction, and see if I can't set myself up here. The wind was coming more from the west, but apparently it's coming from the south and coming around Tillery Hill. So I threw my anchor down thinking, I got close enough to shore and thinking it was going to take me right along shore. Well, you can see I'm drifting pretty far away. I'm not going to be able to cast that far, so I'm going to have to take the anchor up, try to get a lot closer and drop my anchor. This is all part of that learning process, and anytime you deal with wind, it makes a big difference. I learned a big lesson the other day, last time I was out. With these winch anchors, man, what you got to watch out is when you go to bring it in, see, it's actually not going right on that pulley, but you don't want to jam it like that. What happened was the rope itself got caught up in the pulley, and I kept messing with it out here on the water. I decided to give it up because it was just too much trouble. When I got back to the cabin, I started working on it. I had to take the cover off of it, and I bet it took 30 minutes to try to get that line untangled from that gear shaft that's in there. It kind of got on the spool and got all tangled up. So I know from now on that if anything starts going wrong, just like right there, it started going without getting on that pulley, stop right there. Fix it, make sure it's pulling right before you start it up again, because that is a real mess. And I could see you probably tearing one of them up pretty easy. It's kind of funny when it's not windy out here. It's very easy to do things and the boat doesn't move anywhere. But anytime you got a strong wind like this, man, you got to be on top of it because things are moving around all the time. And try to get myself repositioned over there on the shore and fish this shoreline right here, these rocks right here. I think it might look pretty good. And tonight's supposed to get around mid-60s maybe at night, so I think it's going to be a perfect evening. The winds are all supposed to die down to 2 miles an hour. I like that. I'm going to try something new today. I found a spinning reel in my collection in my shop, which I didn't realize I even had. I've been having trouble with the bait casters, closed face reels. I love to use those, but they're just not powerful enough to bring in the bigger fish that I'm catching here at Patoka Lake. So what I decided to do is go through my inventory, and sure enough, I found a real nice spinning reel. It's a Samurai by Daiwa. I say real nice. I'm not sure how expensive it is, but it seems like it's a pretty nice reel. It's a little bit longer than the rods that I've had before. It looks to me like it's probably about an 8-foot rod, probably. And what surprised me is it has braided line on it. I tried it out in the driveway, and boy, it casts so easy. I'm going to give it a shot and see what happens. And rig the little jug head here up with the spinner. I'll put a gulp minnow on it, 3-inch gulp minnow, watermelon pearl. That's my favorite one to throw. I don't have a lot of luck here late afternoon into the evening. I'm definitely going to switch to something, and maybe tomorrow I'll start casting some spin baits and different things like that. Maybe some more rooster tails and try to see exactly what these fish are biting on. As I was getting ready to go to Academy, check on some new rod and reels there and maybe get me something different, but Heck, I found this one, and it's definitely old. It's dirty. It's probably been in the shop forever, but I'm going to give it a shot with it. You know, I've got my bait caster on standby. I'm going to break it out again because I'm not going to give up on it. Or actually, the last video, I bird nested it after about 3 or 4 throws, and I'm sitting there trying to clean the bird nest up, and I caught that catfish on it. So I was like, hey, what the heck? You know, worked for me. Now I got a package here with a lot of juice in it, and I got another package here that I've got gulp worms in, but not a lot of juice. So I'm going to transfer these guys into this juice, shake it up, see if the fish like it. There we go, got them in there. Shake them up, juicy juice. You know, you professional fishermen and women out there, you know, I'm not telling you anything when I say you guys are intense. You guys are super intense about things. You're probably looking at me going, Mr. Lawrence, come on. Get rid of that package and get you brand new. Well, I got a brand new pack sitting in my tackle box right now. But heck, if I've got some sitting right here and I can juice them up, why not? You know, I've even heard fishermen even have the spray, and after every cast, they bring it in, they spray it. Throw it back out there, bring it in, spray it. Whoa, I got maybe some storm clouds coming in here. Interesting. Okay. It rains, right? So, there we go. Woo! All juiced up and dripping. Yeah, okay. Well, we're going to give this a shot. We're going to throw it against these rocks. I got a little bit of shade over here and see what happens. You just have him upside down like that right there. You put that guy in there like that. Right through his nose. Take it in. Take it in as far as you can to the curve, and then eventually you're going to curve him around like that. Run him through there. And that little guy should come out right in his back like that right there. There we go. That does. There's the setup that I'm going to be using right now. We'll see what it does. Then I don't remember this reel, and not only do I not remember it, but it was also on the right-hand side. The handle was on the right, so I had to switch it to the left. Because as soon as I grabbed it, I thought, that don't feel right to have it on the right. I always like it on the left hand. I used to use these years ago, and that's the way I always had it was, you know, I'd reel with my left hand and hold it with my right. It's like a pretty smooth reel. It's going to take a while to get used to this longer rod like this. It's got a lot more flex to it than what I've been using. Between 6 and 7. This one here has got to be at least probably an 8, I would think. Might even say it on here somewhere. I tell you what, all of a sudden, it turned into this magical time where the wind has just started to die down, and it's getting real quiet. I don't know, I haven't caught any fish yet. I'm getting a lot of bites, but that's telling me there's a lot of little fish around here. So I haven't got any big monster bites yet, but I'm going to keep on fishing. But it's just amazing how quiet it's got. It said the wind is going to die down to about 2 miles an hour tonight. So this is apparently the beginning of it right here. This would be a nice little place to take a swim right here. Yeah, getting a lot of bites like that right there. It must be where the young hang out. So I like this spinning reel. It's pretty nice. Ooh. Right there I'm feeling a nice cool breeze coming in from somewhere else. It's been coming from the south. Looks like somebody's built a little rock fort up here. Ah, those little dogs. Look at that. Bit the tail off. Daggone it, you little punks. I guess I gotta switch that minnow. Like I talked about on my last video, I think that little tail action matters. What I just learned just now, this is my red-green running light. And I had it on for probably about 15-20 minutes as I cruised over here. I cruised over here to the south side of Tillery Hill. But what I noticed was my light here is hot. It's not like going to catch on fire, but it's very, very warm. Tells me it's not an LED. Replace that bulb when I get back in town with an LED, probably the one in the back, the running light in the back that lights up the back there. It's probably not an LED, so I'm going to go ahead and switch those out. If nothing else, it just saves energy on my batteries. Won't drain my batteries in case I happen to leave them on, or if I need to leave them on for a while. It's going to be easier on the battery consumption. I found me a nice little place I'm going to stay right back in this cove right here. It looks just absolutely perfect. Going to drop an anchor, spin the Sylvan around so it's facing straight out. Going to go ahead and eat some supper and just relax. Got to remember to get my mosquito net on before it gets dark, because those mosquitoes will come out in platoons of thousands. They'll come out and try to suck the blood. Been a nice day. Got a lot of bites. Have not got a fish in the boat yet. Going to try again tomorrow. Tomorrow morning anyways. I don't know. My luck was good for 3 outings, and now this is the second outing. I'm not doing any good at all. Don't know why. Throwing different things. I don't know. Hard to say. Hey, on that braided line, I thought about something on that braided line. I noticed on that braided line when I threw it, I'm using that spinning reel, and I noticed that braided line. I like it. It's real smooth, but boy, I can sure see it going through the water. Is that a problem with clear water? Is braid a problem with clear water? That's why the other lines are less visible. Let me know in the comments. I got a feeling that's what it is. Time for supper. Mosquito net all put up. I tell you what, if you ever try this, if you ever decide to come out like on a big lake like Patoka Lake, it's very important to get your mosquito net up sooner than later. So the sun, I'd say the sun's going to set within the hour, but the mosquitoes and the bugs are already swarming. Now, the later we get in the summer, probably the more that's going to happen, if I had to guess. But yeah, once you get it all set up, you should be in pretty good shape. Really got to think about your openings and make sure nothing is able to squeeze in. Because, you know, all it takes is one mosquito, 1 or 2 mosquitoes at night inside your tent, and it'll drive you crazy all night. They'll just keep biting you and buzzing you and biting you just the whole night long. Got a couple little thunderheads forming out there. I don't think we're going to get any rain here though. There's the sun going down. You know, it's kind of funny when it's this hot. It's no fun to watch the sunset if it's 95 degrees. Now up in Michigan, northern Michigan, up on Lake Superior, by this time it's already down in the 50s probably, with a nice breeze, and you got your sweatshirt and your hat and your gloves on, and you always watch the sunset. You always watch the sun go down and dip into Lake Superior. Gets a gourmet. There you go. Of course, I've got mosquito spray with me, and I've got all that kind of stuff, you know, if I need it. But yeah, if you wait to put your mosquito net up, what happens is they get inside, right? You know, I should probably have brought me a little smoke bomb or something and lit it and that would probably chase them out or probably kill a lot of them that have already gotten inside. That's not a bad idea. I think I'll do that next time. Maybe a citronella candle, something like that might be a good idea. Pretty day out here. The wind has calmed down. Should be a good night's sleep. Get up in the morning, do some fishing, see what happens. You know, if I don't catch anything by noon, I mean, it just seems to be just flat out here, I may go ahead and load up and head back. I was going to spend into the evening tomorrow, but we'll see how that goes. You know, if the fish aren't biting, the fish aren't biting. There ain't nothing you can do about it. That's why I think a lot of people this time of year really go by that weather forecast. You know, if a front's coming in, they get out there and they fish it hard because the fish get active. And in these lazy days of summer, these fish are lazy and they don't want to do anything, including bite the lure that you put on. Here's the level that I've been driving the boat around right here. And so what I'm going to do is I've got a little lever right here and I can pull this lever and let this seat on down. This is a much better level. Just ate a bug. Hey, that wasn't part of my first course of my meal. This is a better level at this level right here to sit around and just kind of hang out in the Sylvan and stuff. And that's what I've got the passenger seat. It'll be the same way. But when I'm driving it, I really like it high like that. So right now, if I'm sitting like this, when I lift it up, I'm almost like right up here. You know, last time I camped out, it got down to 50 degrees. So by now, it was sweatshirt weather and all that. Right now, I'm sitting here and breaking out a sweat. 65, 70 tonight. So we'll see. Maybe it's going to be cool enough, maybe not. I don't know. I got a lot of them. I'm keeping a lot of them out, but you can see there's a lot of them flying in here. That reminds me and the kids used to go to Michigan all the time, and we would camp. And it was always funny because we'd all try to get in the tent as fast as we could and zip it up. And if you've ever been up in the northern Michigan, you know the mosquitoes, they're about as big as honeybees. We always get in a tent, and we'd always do that for a long time, kill the mosquitoes, because we'd have flashlights and they'd light up and stuff. So some good memories there. You know, the worst mosquitoes that I've ever experienced in my life was the time me and my brother, Johnny, we went and we climbed Mount Adams in Washington State, right on, kind of pretty close to the border of Washington and Oregon, the state line there. We climbed Mount Adams, and then we spent that night up on the mountain, and then the next day we came down. It was getting toward dark. As we approached the car, we were about a mile or so from the car, and you kind of get into a real wet area. Not a swampy area, but just a lot of vegetation, and it had been kind of wet, I guess. For the last month, it had been pretty wet. And we got into mosquitoes that were so bad. And at some point, we just decided, we looked at each other and said, man, we got to run. We got to run for it. Because they were so bad, it's like you see, you know, the people in the Amazon when they're trying to photograph monkeys and stuff. They're just all in their eyes and their nose and everywhere like that. And we didn't have any head nets like on, that, so we just ran as fast as we could. Ran. And we got to his car, and it was like a 1978 Mercury station wagon. Great big old dude. And it was like, holy crap. And so he found the keys, and then we realized they were just swarming. I mean, almost like a cloud. They just, like, I guess a lot of them had just chased us. And we were right there, and we were like, okay, you ready? On the count of three, I told him I'd jump in the back tailgate. He jumps in the front seat. 1, 2, 3, open the door. Bam, jumped in, slammed the door. Oh my gosh, they were everywhere inside there. So we tried to kill them. There were just so many of them. I think Johnny came up with the idea. He went ahead and turned the car on and turned the AC on super, super high. As cold as it, and it had a cold AC in that car. You know, that did the trick. It just numbed them, and they fell, and they just littered the dashboard and littered the car. But it either killed them or it numbed them. Or bad mosquitoes. Bad mosquitoes. So doing something like this is not bad at all. I mean, there's a few of them in here. If you were camping on that bank right there without anything, it would probably be pretty bad. They'd be swarming you. I see some of them up here that have gathered up in the corner of the net right here. I think some are in and some are outside. Let me show you. Not sure if the camera's going to pick up on them or not. But some of them are inside, a lot of them on the outside, but that just kind of shows you that's just a small fraction of how many are out there, and it's going to get a lot worse as it gets dark. The first camping video, when I camped on the water for the first time a few weeks ago, you know, once it gets dark, my camera equipment doesn't work. You know, I've got a couple floodlights with me, but it's not real good filming. You can't really pick things up really well. But what I'm going to try to do is I do have my phone handy, and my phone picks up sounds pretty good. Last time I camped, there was a lot of owls and a lot of animal sounds, and I'm going to try to at least get those and kind of inject them into the film because they sound pretty cool at night. Huh, that's funny. Every time I turn the camera on, a mosquito attacks me. But I've got this right here, and I think I showed this in the last video. I'm not sure. I've never camped out on the water like this, especially like in a fishing boat. You know, a lot of times people will camp out on the water, but they'll have a cabin in their boat that they can go down in and shut the door, and kind of like a secure little cabin. But, you know, I'm kind of out in the open right here, except for a mosquito screen. I decided not to put my PVC pipe up and put my tarp up. Last time I camped, I made a mistake, but it got so cool that basically the top up here started getting dew on it and started dripping down on me throughout the night. I can't imagine that happening tonight. I don't think there's going to be any dew. I think it's just way too warm for something like that to happen. It's in a Sawyer bottle. A Sawyer, this is a spray for ticks, fleas, things like that. It's Pine Sol Sawyer mix. So I must have had a little bit of Sawyer left, but I put Pine Sol in this too. Now the reason I did that, being new at this, I don't know this for sure, but what I do know is Patoka Lake and Hoosier National Forest and this whole southern Indiana area has some gigantic water snakes. I mean, some serious snakes. I've seen them. I've walked up on them. I've seen them doing trail maintenance. Big time snakes, water snakes. What I'm not sure is, I'm pretty close to the bank here on both sides. Does a water snake have any desire, I guess, for a lack of a better word, or curiosity to come over here and to crawl up this boat and crawl in here and look around and see what's in here? I don't know for sure. I do know at the cabin back home, I have seen snakes crawl up vinyl siding. So if they can crawl up vinyl siding, they can crawl up the side of this boat right here. And back here, the motors back here, it's pretty low to the water. What I discovered was, and this is from YouTube, looking at videos on YouTube, some guy was saying that Pine Sol, a Pine Sol mix like this with water will absolutely keep snakes away, spiders away, anything like that, because they just can't stand the smell of it. Last time I came out here, I did it. I sprayed it. I spray it on the top of the gunnel all the way around. And, you know, I can smell it for just a little bit, but it's not bad. Maybe I don't mind the smell of it. I'm just thinking that if something like that happened, if a big cottonmouth water snake, water moccasin, you know, come slivering over here and got up on the Sylvan and got up on the Chrysler motor and kind of slivered up here and started to get up there. If he hits this ring of Pine Sol, I'm thinking he's going to say, yeah, I don't think so. And he's going to turn around and take off. I don't know. Maybe wishful thinking. Maybe just not true at all. But I'm going to give it a shot until somebody tells me it's bogus and it won't help. This isn't the same as, you know, when you're in a tent, you're at least in an enclosed tent. Or if you're in a hammock, you're zipped up in a hammock. But out here, there's nothing to keep, you know, like a snake from coming in here and coming up on the side of the boat and coming right on inside and you know, greet me in the middle of the night and saying, hey, Mr. Lawrence, what are you doing? And I'd say, well, I'm getting ready to whack you, Snakey, if you don't get out of here. Day of fishing, having a little supper, got my mosquito screen screen all up. Getting ready to set my cot out, camp out on the water tonight. Get after those fish first thing in the morning. Hey, life is good. What a difference in boat traffic today compared to last Friday when I was out here. So many less boats. And it was pretty nice, and I really didn't see boats till the afternoon, so it was really nice out here. If you want to come to Patoka Lake, and if you can afford to get off and come during the weekdays, much better to come during the weekdays because the weekends are just a zoo out here. But if you're looking to do that, and you want to come out here and party and see people and run your boat up and down and have fun like that, if that's what you like to do, well then Patoka Lake is a party place for sure. Birds are getting active right before dark. They'll be active in the morning, I guarantee you that. Definitely wake you up. You know what's interesting is I just smell food cooking. Maybe like a hamburger frying, something like that. And this whole area behind me here is at Tillery Hill, so I didn't think anybody really did anything out there, but I'm just starting to wonder if maybe people don't come out there and kind of like do wilderness camping and stuff. Because see, the boat changed directions too. The boat was facing this way, and now because of the thermoclines, the water starts to cool down first, and then the land, and then so the air from the land, the hot air starts rushing out into the water, and it causes kind of like a little bit of a breeze, a thermocline. That's what's caused the boat to turn around here. You know, I need to do that more. Break out my camera and take a lot more still pictures. Used to do it all the time. You know, with the channel, it's mostly all videos and telling stories and things. I enjoy taking pictures. Some beautiful clouds out there tonight. Okay, I've got a big buck over here on the shoreline snorting at me. I tried to get it on my cell phone, but I don't know if it's picking it up or not. There's a buck snorting at me on the shore. Here's a new noise, listen. You hear it? It sounds like a cat. Like it sounds like a kitten or like a cat or something. And then I hear that big buck. He's right over here. He's trying to sneak up on me. He ain't a good sneaker upper, making that noise. I decided to come out of the sanctuary of my mosquito net and throw a line in, just in case the fish are interested in a topwater lure. Let's see what happens. In case I catch one, I'll be able to turn my light on and show you that it's not a fake fish. Check this out. It's like mosquito swarms. Swarms of mosquitoes are heading this way. I'm gonna have to get back in the mosquito tent shortly. They're like super loud. Oh crap. They're right above me. Oh man. No wonder I hear them. They're right above me. Holy crap. I kept thinking they were on the top. And I look up and they're all over my head. I gotta get back in. I gotta reel my lure back in. That is funny. And there's bats flying everywhere. Look at that bat. Every time I threw my lure, it would have went to the air. The bat would try to get it. That'd be weird to catch a bat. Okay, I'm being attacked by mosquitoes and bats and cats and deer. Oh my. The joy of camping on the water at Patoka Lake. Okay, I'm gonna get back in, but I'm gonna show you this one thunderhead right here. This is beautiful. Check him out. That's cool. I'm using this little dude that floats but jiggles. We'll see what happens. Trying to use this bait caster. The fish are probably going, Mr. Lawrence, is that you? Would you go to bed already? We didn't bite all day. We're not biting tonight. Okay. You can tell my bait caster is making that noise. I need to get me a new bait caster, I guess. I was looking, this thing's actually kind of old. They actually listed on eBay as vintage. A vintage Daiwa. Fish are jumping out there. So these are the LED lights I have mounted on the 1980 Sylvan fishing boat. Got one on the starboard side and one on the port side. Now it's always a fun day being out on the water. You know, it's like a young man said to me, I call him a young man, you know, he's probably, if I had to guess, he's probably 13, 12, 13, something like that. But when I got off the lake last Friday, you know, and I didn't catch any fish, caught one catfish. I caught more than I caught today. But he goes, I said something about, yeah, it was a good day, but it wasn't a good day of fishing. Didn't catch a lot of fish. And he goes, well, it's not about the fish, it's about the fun. So I thought, yeah, that's a good way to look at it, buddy. Yeah, made me feel better when he said that. Anyways, here I am. I'm crashed out. Got my cot set up. Everything's good. I see a couple mosquitoes still flying around in here. So I went in and sprayed some deep woods off on me, you know, to make sure that they don't bite. There's a few owls that just squeaked over here. And I've heard some raccoons already, and that cat, whatever that cat noise was over here. The buck's over here. He's snorting around. And of course you got the celestial blanket of frogs chirping away. As soon as I turn this light off, they're going to get real loud. So anyways, I appreciate you coming along. And maybe tomorrow we'll catch some fish. Maybe we won't. If not, we'll just go for a nice boat ride. Cruise around Patoka Lake. It's going to start getting crowded. It's Friday. It'll be Friday, so more boats will be coming on the water. So if we don't catch a lot of fish, maybe we'll bug out of here about noon. We'll see. And then we'll come back. It's always so quiet out here. I can still hear those mosquitoes buzzing. Oh, there's one right there. There's another one. Oh well. Better than being outside. See you in the morning. That's a buck blowing over on the shoreline. I noticed there's been fishermen launching all night out here.